Well, welcome to Citywide Christian Church's internet teaching. And if you're back for the second week, that must mean I didn't bore you that much last week. But if you're here for the first time, we're doing a series just for the internet. And this is the second part of our series. Last week, we started a series called Mind Your Mouth, Mate. And what that's about is basically that life sometimes makes us go around circles. And I don't know if you have felt that in your life, that you try and move forward, you try and do things, you try and progress in life, but actually, by the end of it all, you're just going around in circles. And I shared last week that there's a group of people called the Israelites that had a similar problem. They went from an 11-day journey, that's all it was supposed to take them, in a place called the wilderness, and it ended up being 40 years before they started getting out. Why? Because they kept going around in circles and circles and circles, just like life does to us sometimes. Now, here's what I wanted to say last week, which I'll reiterate this week. The reason why they went around in circles and circles is because they did three things that we do today and makes us go around in circles and circles with life. And they were these three things already. Their mouth was the problem, their mind was the problem, and their mates were the problem. And last week we covered the mind, meaning that they had a defeated mindset. And in Numbers it speaks about how Moses sent the 12 spies into the promised land to have a look at it. And 10 came back with a really bad, defeated report because they said, look at the size of the giants. Two of them, two men called Joshua and Caleb, came back with great reports saying, the grapes are big, the land is plentiful, it is a great place, it's ours, God said it's ours, so let's go in and get it. But do you know that those 10 convinced millions not to go into the promised land? You know what, friends? Defeated mindsets stop us every day from grabbing hold of what God has got for us. What's your attitude like? What's your thinking like? Have you got stinking thinking? Or have you got the mind of Christ that says, no matter what comes against me, my God is bigger than any situation? You know, there's a story, and I'll quickly share it before I go into the second part of the series. There's a story where a little cub bear was faced by a big lion, and the bear was a little bit scared. It was just a baby bear. The lion came up to him really close. And all of a sudden, the lion was about to pounce on him, and the baby bear was so scared that all of a sudden, the lion started running away. And the baby bear thought, wow, I'm bigger than I thought, I'm a giant. What the baby bear didn't realise was that Papa Bear had just walked behind him, and the lion saw Papa Bear and ran off. Well, I'm here to tell you, no matter what obstacle you're going through, God, the Father, is behind you, and the enemy will scatter because it's not you in the battle, it's God fighting your battle. So friends, have the right mind and you won't go around in circles in life. Now, here's the second part of the series for today. You ready? Not only was their mind the problem, but their mouth was the problem. They were hung by their tongue. Now let me read Numbers 14, 26 to 30 for you. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, how long will this wicked nation complain about me? I've heard everything the Israelites have been saying. Now tell them this, as surely as I live, I will do to you the very things I heard you say. I, the Lord, have spoken. Friends, did you hear that? God told the Israelites what they say is what they were going to see. Do you know what? Thousands of years might have passed, but that principle is still there. If you complain in life, you'll remain in life. But if you praise, you'll be raised. And I'm here to tell you this, friends, that what you say, you're going to see. So no matter what you're going through, make sure that what you say is in line with God's promises, godly faith, so that you can take your life to where you need it to go. You know that your words are like arrows. Wherever you want to go in life, just speak about it, and that's where your life will head. So it's very, very important that we be careful what we say. The Israelites went around in circles and circles and circles. Why? Because of their mouth and because of the negativeness coming out of them. God said, hey, what you say, you're going to see. Well, friends, maybe you're in a position today where you think, I don't want to be in this part in my life. I don't want it to be the way it is. Maybe, just maybe, it's because you've said things and now you're seeing the very things you've said. For example, I know many people that have said, you know, one day I'm going to break a leg playing football, one day I'm going to break a leg doing this and doing that, whatever the case may be. Do you know that they've broken their legs? Do you know that these things have happened? Be very, very careful what you say. It is a spiritual force. What you say, you will see. So say good things so that you'll see good things in your life. Let me share some other scriptures with you. Proverbs 18:21, Proverbs 21:23, and Psalm 45:1. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Those who love to talk will experience the consequences, for the tongue can kill or nourish life." Proverbs 21:23 says, "If you keep your mouth shut, you will stay out of trouble." Psalm 45:1 says, "My heart overflows with a beautiful thought. I will recite a lovely poem to the king, for my tongue is like the pen of a skillful poet." Friends, you know what that's saying? Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Friends, if you want life, if you want to have great things happen in your life, please speak it, because the Israelites spoke defeat and that's what they got. You speak victory and things will turn around for you. Do you know, a lot of people use their tongue to kill one another, not just the situations they're in. And I'm here to tell you this, especially in marriages or relationships. Do this as an example. Go get a tube of toothpaste. Squeeze it all out. Then try and put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's impossible. Well, when you've said something to your spouse, to your child, to your friend, and you want to take it back, it's impossible. It will do the damage it's set out to do. Be very, very careful with your tongues. You need to tame the tongue if you want life to be fruitful. If you don't want to go around in circles, tame the tongue. You know, a thermometer measures the temperature of a body. A sonar measures sound. A thermostat measures heat. Do you know that the Bible says that your tongue actually measures what's going on within you and how you are with God and how life is within you? Your tongue is the measuring stick of your life. It's the measuring stick. Do you know, when you go to the doctor sometimes, or years ago, now they've changed a little bit now, but the doctor would always put his, I forgot what it's called, but this timber thing in your mouth, just to check how your mouth is going. Why? Because your mouth gives him a great guide of what's happening in your life and what's happening in your body. Friends, that's physically. How much more is that spiritually? If you've got negativeness coming out, you're full of negativeness on the inside. If you're criticizing all the time, you've got a critical spirit. Be careful what you say, because it alerts everyone to what's happening on the inside of you. Matthew 12:34, Jesus says, "Whatever your heart has, your mouth will speak it out." So church and friends, be careful what you say and take a good look at it, because it's a great guide to know what's going on with you. James 3:1-12 says that the tongue has the power to gauge. Well, gauge is where we are in life. It gauges what's happening in our heart. And it also has the power to guide. It talks about a bit being in the bridle of the horse, where you turn the horse by the bit in its mouth. It talks about a rudder, the smallest part of the ship, turns a whole ship. And it says the tongue, the smallest part of your body, will direct your life. Friends, the second reason why the Israelites went around in circles and circles was because they did not tame their tongue. They were hung by their tongue. I'm here to encourage you. Tame your tongue. Go on a word fast. You know what that is? Fast from everything that is negative. If someone says, "Gee, it's a bad day outside," say, "Well, you know what? I think it's a good day." Don't add to the negativeness in the world. Fast from it. Just like you go for a blood test and you fast from food, fast from negativeness. Why? Because, like the psalm said, your words are like a pen in a skillful writer. Want to know your future? Easy. What are you talking about now? Because that's where you're going to be headed in the future. God bless you, and I pray that you've enjoyed this part of the internet series at Citywide Christian Church. See you next week.